Evening. Welcome to the program. I'm Buddy Martin. We got a new intro, not doing the old anymore. And glad you could be with us tonight. We've got a good show. Folks getting out of the women's game. Unfortunately, Gators losing by 20 to Texas, 88-68. Played good in the first half, not good enough long enough. And the guy who has watched this basketball team from Florida lose a game and become a better team, and he'll tell you why. He broke it down pretty well this morning in his article. Will join us in just a minute. Then we'll have Jeffrey Meldon, who's going to come over and tell us about the new show he and Franz and I will be doing on Thursday night starting next week with a ton of giveaways. Jeffrey Meldon will join us here, and then Lauren Menace will come along later. Been true. Busy night tonight. Good night. Stay tuned. Here's the man, Franz Beard, right now, and let's say good evening. Hello, Francis. How you doing?
Hanging in there, buddy.
Yeah, you've been through a lot here lately with all the stuff you had going on, especially the illness. Glad you could be with us tonight. There was a time when I wasn't sure if you'd be with us all week. So Francis, Gators lose again tonight, unfortunately, women's basketball. I kind of hate this because I really do like Kelly Ray. I just think she's a grand person, and she's a good basketball coach. She hasn't got enough tools, and they're not good enough to compete with the LSUs and there's that clobber the other night. And tonight, Texas, although they led Texas in the first half. We'll have a couple of people coming along here at the game. Lauren Meadows was at the game. But also, we'll have Jeffrey Meldon will join us to tell us about his new show, Gator Hoopla. Baby, this is your dream. This is you every Thursday night talking hoop. Gator Hoopla, Franz Beard and Jeffrey Meldon. What a pair to draw to. Well, Francis, talk to us about this team. They are a better team because they lost to Auburn, right?
Well, what they've done is they kind of figured out that I guess you could call Auburn an epiphany because they collectively figured out that, okay, what we're doing is missing something. And what was missing was intensity and ball movement. And 28 assists yesterday in beating
Let's
South
break that
Carolina.
down for a second because non-basketball savants, you are a savant, don't quite understand. I know I have a hard time getting my arms or my mind around how do you get 28 assists? That means people touch the ball 28 times and led to a score. Explain that because that's just unheard of.
Well, let me go with the Dean Smith theory about things, okay? And as you know, Dean was a friend of mine, and I followed him very closely. Dean ran what's called the passing game. You could run it against any kind of defense, and it worked. But let me break down the fundamentals of the passing game first off. Ball's at the point in the middle of the field, in the middle of the court, right? Okay. I make one pass over to the right. Even in good teams with just one pass, hit 30% of their shots. The ball comes back to my point, and I go to the other side. It goes up to 40%. You made two passes. When you make that third pass, whether it's an entry pass down low or another pass to the perimeter, it goes up to about 50% makes on your shots. In other words, if you've got a minimum of three passes, and I'm not talking about just throwing the ball around the perimeter. Okay, I'm talking about serious passes, looking.
We're not talking four corners here, which he also was the godfather of.
Well, actually, the godfather of the four corners is a guy named Chuck Noe.
I know, Dean made it famous.
Dean made it famous. Chuck Noe was at South Carolina, and he had an offense called the Mongoose, and Dean perfected it and put it into the four corners. Mm-hmm. But the idea is this: minimum of three passes that are intent on getting the ball into shooting position. Not the idea of, okay, I'm running a pick and roll out here and I'm going to just flip it all around the perimeter and stuff. This is like boom, comes back, boom, over here. I'm looking to shoot. And here's the idea. The ball moves faster than feet, okay? I throw the ball here with a good pass. It moves faster than my feet. So I'm over here trying to defend here. Now I got to turn over here. Now I got to turn back over here, whatever like that. But the ball moves faster than the feet. And you end up with a good shot that somebody's open.
All right, before we put everybody to sleep and trying to understand this, and you make a good explanation, it's not you. It's just when you start talking X's and O's, people kind of drop off. So let's get it back going the right direction with this book in the right-hand corner, which I got to say is a terrific book. It's a terrific book because if you want to drill down on what happened and who doesn't of the championship year in Florida basketball, I would love to have this book written on the 04s back in the day, too. This book has got it all, and it's well written. Franz covered it personally, wrote it personally. We had some good editors. We had great pictures. I don't say enough about the pictures. You had 40 photos in there from the talented Chris Spears. And that's this is the book where you can get it online. That covers your shipping and everything. Thanks to Freddie Weeby. There have been some signings where you could buy it cheap if you get there. It's hard to get there. Well, sometimes you can't. Check it out. And I'm going to announce tonight, later on, with Jeffrey Meldon, that we're going to give a March Gladness Madness, which is we're going to give away some goodies on these shows, including probably Shane Matthews' show. This show will include at least a couple of books a week. And get this, one of those championship rings on Thursdays. Yes, one of those beautiful rings. So this is all coming your way. It's March Gladness, March instead of March Madness. So anyway, sorry if I interrupted you, friends, but I want to get that in there and let people know what's going on because you don't want to be without this book, folks. And also remind you, if you hear my voice, I need you to do something right now. We are reworking a lot of the infrastructure of the show. Brendan Martin's working tirelessly today and other days to get it rocking and rolling because the technology changes all the time, every day. And we want you to please remember how important it is for you to like the show, hit like, and share this show as often as you can. It's really helpful. We got some great folks here who follow the program. They're loyal every night. We appreciate that. But so I want to get that in first. All right. Tell me why the interior of passing was so good. I mean, I counted several times. There were 4 touches at least, maybe 5 a couple of times.
Well, it's like we were saying. When you move, the ball moves faster than feet, and you get people open. The concept is this: if my players are moving and the ball is moving, we know where we're going. The defense has to react. You end up with open shots. We ended up with 28 assists the other day. And as you say, that means that people are touching the ball. It means that feet are moving. It means there's intensity. And I think that the loss to Auburn had everything to do with a lack, not so much a lack of intensity, but the intensity wasn't at a high enough level.
And you took them through that today in your column. They wanted to get back on the court right away.
Yeah.
That's a positive sign, but they knew they lost that game that was winnable again, and they were tied up in that game late and then let it get away from them. And that's a game that was winnable, as you point out. Not the end of the world, but it's not a game you should lose, and a very painful loss to Coach Golden because of who it came from, his best friend, Stephen Pearl. So here we go. Now they got to get their dobber back up. They got to play this, say, Coach, let's go practice and practice hard. Not only Monday, which is usually not a hard practice day, but Tuesday, as you wrote about in your column, the intensity was carried over against South Carolina. France, I don't even know all the records they broke. Most points on the road. It was just so many of their scoring records. And I love how they played the game, especially interior passing and things that happened. So you didn't even notice that the guards weren't shooting that good, although Klasdor did get 3 threes. So, you don't have the 3-point shot going. the little interior pass will do the same thing, right?
Well, you look at what Xavier Lee and Boogie Flang combined for. They combined for 16 points and 15 assists and 4 steals. So they contributed on the defensive end. They contributed with 15 assists, means that at least 30 points. I don't know how many of them were. The assists were good for threes or and ones, but so a minimum of 30 points and plus their own 16.
Yeah.
So they accounted for half of Florida's points.
Yeah.
And that's good guard play. I think we put too much emphasis sometimes on who's scoring. I watched.
Well, when you get packed in like that and you can't hit the outside shot, it is a problem. You've got to find a way to attack it, and they didn't. Can I just say one thing? I interrupt you again. Sorry. Florida is now up to 29% on three-point shooting. You keep saying they're not that bad. Last night, it was a reminder. If they get that 30% range, that means they're going to be Final Four caliber. That's not that far away. And, Kondo has a lot of criticism for shooting threes. A lot of people hate to see it. He shot one last night, as you said. But they're Flan, Lee, and Kondo are shooting 22%. But they're taking half the team's threes. The rest of the team's 35%. So what do you make about all that? And do you think you tell Kondo not to shoot the three anymore?
Well, he shot last night. He's got the ball top of the key. It's a buzzer beat. We're down to like 2.2 seconds on the shot clock. He's got to take the shot. Okay. He's a better shooter than that. Something's off with his shooting. I want to get him a book called Sharman on Shooting Basketball.
Yeah.
The greatest shooter of all time. People don't know about Bill Sharman, but you knew Betty. And Bill Sharman wrote a book on it.
Yeah.
That is magnificent about where the elbow is. I'm getting into technical stuff tonight.
Sure.
Some people
You're
may
very
get bored
technical tonight, yeah.
with that. But here's the deal. The ball goes where your elbow is, okay? If your elbow is out here, the ball, what does your hand do? The ball's going to go over there. I mean, even if you're slightly off, if I'm slightly off here, but if I've got my elbow square, got my wrist square, and I do this, ball's going where the ball is going straight. And that's what you got to do. And it's one of these things that, I haven't been able to analyze Kondo and his shooting, but something's off. If you're hitting the front of the rim, that means your elbow's too low. You're hitting the back of the rim consistently, means your elbow's too high.
It's called touch, friends.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't rocket science. If it were, I couldn't tell you about it. I'm not a genius. But what I can do is I can tell you.
Yeah,
I can tell you,
and you do a good job of it too. By the way, let me say that.
Where stuff is. Alex is up at the top of the key. He's got to. One of the things he's got to do, buddy, is he gets the ball here, and he brings it down here. As my high school coach in Mississippi, Benny Kimball, used to tell 6'8" Lloyd Bennett, he says, Lloyd, when you bring it to your waist, you make it so you make yourself short as Franz Beard. and he said that after I had like consecutive stops, because I'm with the second team playing defense, and it was a very simple thing. Ball comes down here, stick your hand down in there, and you get it down low. I couldn't get it if he was 6'8". If the ball's up here, I couldn't have touched it. And Kondo's got to realize, okay, the ball's got to stay up here. This is the ideal situation. Watch, one of the things I tell kids to do is watch these videos, and there's about 500 of them on Larry Bird. Larry Bird, watch where he throws those passes from. Boom, like there, boom. always
He
up
hits the
around.
man right where he needs to get the ball.
Yeah, but look where he gets the rebound. The ball comes down here. Now he may dribble out with it,
Yeah,
but if he just stood there and makes a pass, where's this pass from? Right up in here.
yeah.
You don't turn it over then. You don't miss shots then. It's when you bring the ball down they do, and he's got to get in that habit. Question here: who do I think will rise to the occasion and be our last shot game closer?
Yeah.
That I made the comment. I think it was on Monday night when we did the show. That's the one thing that I've got to that we've got to find. We have to find a closer. We got to find that guy that is not afraid of the moment
and wants the ball
and wants the basketball. We were very, very fortunate last year. We had three guys, three, for lack of a better term, three alpha males. They all wanted the ball. They're not afraid. And the thing about it is, buddy, there's a lot of people who say, I want the ball. But how many people?
But you don't want them to have the ball.
Well, here's the thing. How many people can live with missing? Okay. It's one thing to want it to take the shot, but it's another thing, can you handle not making the shot? Okay. And you got to be, you have to be confident either way that when you miss it, it's not going to affect your confidence. And this is why a lot of guys who say they want the ball, but they go up, and in the back of their mind is, oh my gosh, I got a 50-50 chance here to make it or miss it.
I think they got Tommy Hoff. I think he wants the ball. This guy wanted the ball whenever he was playing football right here. You give me the ball. What's up, Ben Troop? How you doing?
How you doing, Franz? How you doing, buddy? I don't know if I wanted the ball more than as Ron Zook said, you better be ready when the ball comes your way. My quarterback was 18 and he had a lot on his mind. So I did my best to not bother him. I would go up to him before the game and say, Chris, whenever you need me. I didn't realize sometimes he throwing the places that I'm not even there. But Ron Zook said, if you expected me to blame an 18-year-old quarterback fresh out of high school, you got another thing coming. So, hey, we were living two different lives.
Yeah. Good to have you, Ben. And tonight, Franz, we're going to introduce our new partner on Thursday night's show. It will be Mr. Jeffrey Meldon, who will be starting with you the Thursday night show called Gator Hoopla, all about hoops. It's going to be fun. I'm going to give away tons of stuff. We'll tell you all about that later on in terms of, goodies. So, and Ben Troop is going to be doing some weekend stuff. He hadn't told us the details yet. He and Lauren are kind of keeping it to themselves. They're going to spray it on us. I just know what's going to happen. And he'll pop in. He'll be around on Tuesday nights.
Of course. Yeah, I ain't going nowhere. Me and Lauren have talked about a little bit. Talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
Weekend warrior.
I mean, listen, Mr. Meldon putting a lot of pressure on these other lawyers around here. I mean, everybody else just practicing law. He got to know about it. He said, listen, I can't talk to y'all. I got to go break down this game. Y'all ain't on the same level as me.
Did you hear about the putt, Ben, at the Auburn game?
I did not.
Jeffrey puts up $55,000. You're putting at one end of the floor. They have a board with a hole that's about, I presume, about the size of a hole on a golf course that you'd find on the green. You make the putt, $55,000. This girl putts, and if it just goes that much to the right, she had $55,000. Hit the corner of the hole and kicked out. I'm sitting there watching it thinking, holy cow, she just did it.
I mean, somebody's gonna make that putt. You keep on doing that, somebody's gonna make it. If you keep on doing it.
I don't think they're going to keep doing it every time, but people love stuff like that. But I mean, look, I mean, I know he's our sponsor. He's our friend. He's going to be on. This guy is amazing. And he and Freddie Reeby together are incredible. Let me tell you about something I shouldn't be talking about yet, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Did you know that there's a Foster, the Heisman people are talking to us about coming here they're going to build some foster homes in Florida based on Isaiah 117 as the responsibility of the fatherless. And the names they're going to have and the deal they're going to have at Spurrier's will blow your mind. I said I wanted the ticket till I found out my say call session. Oh, I can't afford that kind of money. But anyway, that's kind of stuff they constantly do. You know, Spurrier's is sold out till after March. It's sold out. You can't get an event in there. They do such a fantastic job. And Freddie is so smart. And Jeffrey is so generous. I love those guys. I love working with them. And then we can be thankful they're behind our show. All right, so Ben, real quick, while we're talking, we'll switch over to a little football, France. That's okay with you. I think we're hearing good stuff from different people. I talked to Coach Spurrier yesterday. I wrote a column today about the fact we all quit killing off Steve Spurrier. More of those stories up there on the internet. He's dying. He ain't dying. He's not sick. And I had a nice long chat with him today. And we did a column on it. And he's very happy with the progress. He thinks they got the right offensive coordinator. He feels like of the two quarterbacks, they're going to have a winner. And he's very pleased. It takes a little bit to please Coach Spurrier. Before we start getting too crazy and start falling in love on the first date, whatever, let's just say that it looks awful good right now. And I don't think it could have been better than what it's been for Coach Summerall. I mean, it's really been good. And so I think we're all looking at it saying, could have been Lane Kiffin. We got this guy instead. Did we dodge a bullet, Ben?
I think we did dodge a bullet for this reason. I respect everything Coach Lane Kiffin has done. I mean, I was on his Oakland Raiders team back in 2008 when I think he got a raw deal. Him and Al Davis didn't really get along well. I think sometimes with Lane Kiffin was the hot coach. It's going to be a big name coach every year in the coaching carousel. He was the big name this year, and obviously people thought Florida had a shot. Didn't Coach Summerall make the college football playoffs? Yeah, he did. Just like Lane Kiffin did. He did it at Tulane. Coach Summerall said, look, if I could do it at Tulane, nothing against Tulane, by the way, shout out to the Green Wave, I could do it at Florida because I want to know what it's like to have that backing, to have that resources, to have that money, to have, that logo. And Coach Summerall got he got the best offensive coordinator in the country. He won the award
named
for it.
top assistant.
Exactly. And listen, and when you ask Brad White, hey man, how your defense gonna play? If you could have coached one player, Brandon Spikes. Yeah, I could deal with a guy like that. I could deal with a guy that says, look, I want to play how Brandon Spikes played. I said, well, I don't know if you're gonna get 11 of those. But if you get one of those, Miles Graham ain't Brandon Spikes, but he got spikes in him. He could, depending on how you want to use him. But no, Coach Summerall is doing it the right way. I like the fact that everybody be talking about, him at the game and his first recruit deciding to come to Florida, how much emotion he showed. I like it when coaches show raw emotion. Like, look, I'm the head coach, but I know the lifeblood of my program is to get the best players in there. I'm not finna sugarcoat it. And I'm just liking the fact that he's doing the thing that I think, I don't do the comparison, but you got to get out there in the community.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Gainesville, Ocala, bigger than just the schools.
Doing that.
People need to see you, man, because they support you. So sometimes they show up to the game because they rep Florida. Sometimes they show up to the game because you showed up to see them. Hey, man, Coach Summerall was just talking to us. And hopefully, like I said, the media part, and yes, I'm biased because I'm a part of it now. What is it gonna hurt to build a rapport? Because you're gonna talk to the media more than you're gonna have practice. You're gonna talk to them more than you might as well get used to first name, last name, buddy, friends. I think that's the part that I think hopefully he's understanding because they're gonna write favorable and unfavorable. I don't think people write bad stories. They write what is going on. They don't say that you trying to write no, they lost. Yeah. What you want me to say? I love them, but they lost. Like I said, I love my wife. And she knows it. I could be critical of her sometimes, right? I'm not
Well,
going to be
not too
critical of her.
often. Be careful.
No, not in public, buddy. Not in public. I have to eat this woman food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be serving me what you ain't serving the kid. I'm just saying I have to eat the food. So I know how to do it. But
You know,
so far,
after you
so
could
good.
eat dog food, you know, you can
No.
turn
What I'm saying is, so if you give her some food, if she give me some food, I'll give it to our 11-year-old and be like, hey, try this. But then the other day, she was like, oh, spit that out. I'm like, are you trying to point to me?
Yeah, we got to go get Jeffrey Meldon here real quick, 30 seconds. I want to point out Freddie texted me and said the 55,000 was for 55 years of Meldon Law. That's all I've been around. And thousands for each year of serving the community. Meldon Law was established in 1971. And Franz, you got 30 seconds to tell me about the dodge a bullet, not getting Lane Kiffin.
Well, here's the thing: is you get a coach who has been to 4 championship games in 4 years and won 3 of them. Lane is a fine coach, but how many championships has Lane won? How many championship games has Lane played in? How many has John Summerall won? 3. How many times he played for a championship? 4. Winners, what's that old saying? Winners win. I think we got the guy that wins.
Yeah, speaking of winners, Jeffrey's on hold there, and it's good timing because we're going to talk about Meldon Law. You think we got anything to say, Franz, about Meldon Law? I think so. I've told Freddie and I've told Jeffrey the same thing. They do incredible things. Sometimes you have to remind this guy that he also has a business because he has so much fun when he's doing, and he does so many great things. Like tonight, where was he? The women's basketball game. Didn't get it done tonight, but there was Jeffrey out there doing his thing, and here he is tonight, just in time for us to do the commercial from Meldon Law, and there he is. Meldon Law, you gotta.
How we doing?
Good. You want to do your own commercial?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good one, buddy.
You want me to do one for you?
We can all do it, but I want Jeffrey to do one.
You want me to do a commercial right now?
I want you to tell me. Look, I know. Here's the thing about you.
Hey,
you love what you're doing, and you love helping people. That gives you great joy. And I know you love all these things. I say again, the most incredible promotion I've ever seen in college basketball is where you bought those 10,000 championship rings and gave them out to people. And by golly, you can't hardly tell them there it is. You can't, but you got the real one on, don't you?
No.
No?
Well, yeah, it's the real official replica.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you for all you're doing, and I'm excited to tell the world. We're going to let Jeffrey go. We're going to let.
You want me to do a commercial, buddy? I'll do.
Yeah, you do the commercial. Go ahead.
Y'all out there, Meldon Law gets more than double the average settlement for our clients and all them other big box law firms. So why dumbasses calling and not Meldon Law?
Yeah, come on. I like that. That's good. That works.
I'll tell you something about why Jeffrey gets what he gets for people. And that's because Jeffrey is part of the fabric of the community where he is. You look at him, the weekly scholar athlete that he's been doing. How many years you been doing that, Jeffrey? 30 years on
1997 we started it.
Yeah, almost 30 years. They do a weekly scholar athlete. Doesn't matter the sport. If you're the best, boy, girl, whatever, it's there. Jeffrey, you can call Jeffrey up and say, Jeffrey, I got a problem with probate. And Jeffrey's not a probate attorney, but he knows who is, and he'll put you to the right guy. If he can't handle the case, he doesn't have such an ego that he's going to say, yeah, I'll do it, and then drop the ball for you.
All right, just don't pump him up too much, okay? He's getting a show here now. He's going to be making us look bad because he's going to go get some great guests on here, I know, and we're going to tell you about that. We'll let Ben say good night. Appreciate it, Ben. You have any questions for Mr. Meldon before you go, sir?
No, I always listen, Mr. Meldon. I know you ordered 10,000. If y'all might have messed up and ordered 10,001, what? I didn't get mine.
I don't have one either. Look, you see one on my hand?
No, I know. No, but before I go, though, I will say this. Where is this thing at? Mr. Meldon, I'm happy for you, sir. I think sometimes a person like yourself don't seem like the type of person that care a lot about the accolades and the praise that you get, but I hope people flood you with it because most people don't know how people feel about them. I'm happy at the fact that you get a chance, but you put a lot of pressure on these other law firms. All they do is practice law. They don't got no show, Mr. Meldon. Now they ain't breaking it down. I'm just saying.
Hey, man, I've been in show business my whole life.
Yes.
So now the judge gonna say, Your Honor, can we get a continuation? I got a show to do. So I got a show to do tonight, Your Honor. I can't do it. I got a late night. Can we do this next week? No, congratulations on your new show. You listen, nobody's safe. Here, listen, Jeffrey Meldon, Franz Beard, and but man, y'all gonna need lawyers. Y'all gonna need representation.
I got a ring for you. Let me know how I can get it to you.
I got to get mine first, buddy.
Hold on, buddy. Buddy.
No.
Buddy. First come first.
No, buddy. I need mine, buddy, because that's my Georgia. That's my Georgia crypt, and that's my Georgia crypt. That's my raid.
Right,
be like,
I
was at a Walmart parking lot, and they surrounded me. They always out there with their red overalls on, saying, "What's up now, Ben?" I'm like, y'all got red overalls on and it ain't court order? No. A judge didn't make you wear this? No.
All right. It's getting thick now. That's getting thick now. Good night, Ben. Thank you, buddy.
Good night.
All right. Great Ben Troop. I want to get to this before it gets to, by the way, Meldon Law, they won't back down. Check them out. They got now a lot of locations. I think you got 50 lawyers now, right? Over 50 lawyers, plus an office in South Florida. Always expanding, doing good things. And making our communities better. But the thing I want to talk to you about is your show. This is a big deal. We thought we might want to get it launched tonight, but no, you had to go gallivanting off to cover a game. You couldn't do it tonight. Now we're going to do that. It's going to be fun. We've talked about it some. I don't think we had a chance to really scope it out completely. I want to get your visions. But one of the things I hope you'll do is tell the stories that you have. And you have some very good ones. Because people don't know how close you are to the program and the athletes and the coaches, especially in basketball. You and Todd are bros there. Y'all did a lot together during the season last year. And I know that you feed the team, that you do so many things with the team. You know people. You told me some fascinating stories about clubs are off the air. I thought, man, I got to get these on the air. This is good stuff. So you have to promise you'll share some of those, show with us. And can you get us some big stars to come on the show? That's the question.
Of course.
Okay.
No, I'll tell you, buddy, my wife has been a superstar.
She has been.
Both basketball programs because she's out there meeting the moms and the dads.
Yeah.
She's getting their cell phone numbers. When they come into town, we're having them over the house with their sons, daughters. It's just a wonderful experience. And you and I have talked about it after we got NIL. It really opened up the floodgates for meeting and entertaining the players. So we've had a great experience both with the men's team. We had the celebration at our house after the national championship. So the Friday after that Monday, all the players and the coaches were over our house hanging out, partying, having a good time. They were over here for the LSU watch party. More importantly, though, getting to know the moms and the dads is absolutely fascinating. You guys are sports writers, and you know how interesting it is when you get the backstory and you meet the moms and the dads and the brothers and the sisters. You see a little bit of the family dynamic. And so I want to tell you, for me, that's been the most fun, just hanging out with the players and getting to know them. And why was it for 100 years we couldn't do that? We were in the rule. Huh? Explain that to me, huh?
You weren't allowed to buy a hamburger on only that. You got Patricia cooked for 100 people last week, and she is not only she cooks for them, she loves on them. Let me tell you something you might not know. One of the biggest problems we have in this country, and particularly for college students, is they have a real problem with loneliness. I have one of my best friends who's the number 2 person in the psychology department at the University of Florida. And she's got unbelievable degrees from Harvard and Yale and whatever. And she's written a book on it, and I helped her with the book. And she said it's the biggest problem, especially when the kids go away from home the first year or two. They are depressed and lonely and whatever. And what you're doing now helps that a lot. Having a home style atmosphere where you can eat and you can talk and even speak the language, which Patricia does some, right? She's bilingual, isn't she?
No, she's quadlingual.
Franz, can you speak all these languages? Tell everybody what.
Well, if you speak 4, you're quadlingual. 3, you're trilingual. 2, you're bilingual. And 1, you're an American. That's me.
I'm an American.
Yeah. Well, she does speak a lot, and she does a great job. And anyway, back to the show. We're going to have fun. It's going to be Thursday nights. It's called, don't forget when people ask you, it's called Gator. What is it, Frank? What is it?
I thought you it was on
Gator Hoopla.
I thought you were having a senior moment, buddy.
No, I was waiting on somebody to fill in the blanks.
Hoopla. Okay.
Gator Hoopla, and that's because it's about hoops.
Did you think he was having a senior moment, Jeffrey?
No,
I did. I have a senior moment about every 2 minutes.
There we go. We have every moment we have a senior, right?
So we're old.
Yeah.
We're old.
So anyway, the bottom line is that's the show. Thursday night, Franz is going to come in. You're going to come up with a story. We're going to story time every week. Maybe we'll get a few guys. Maybe a guy named Todd might drop in once in a while. You never know. Some of the players, Urban Klasvar, my boy Tommy. Oh, my gosh, Tommy Huff's my guy. But I'm sure you have the ability. That's not the reason you got the show, but that certainly will make it more interesting. You don't want guys like me in France.
You know what? I'm just a fan. So that's my
well, that's what's good. Yeah.
And so that's an important perspective. It's like you guys are the sports writers and I'm the fan. So that's the
you're more than a fan, Jeffrey. You're the friend.
Okay.
And you take a guy, I'll give you a good example. You take a guy like Ruben Chinyelu, who most people have no idea. They see him out there and they see him play basketball, but they don't have any clue how intelligent this young man is and the real perspectives he has about the world around him, etc. Having grown up in Nigeria and come here, he's an amazing young man, so bright and intelligent and personable.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there at my swimming pool, sitting there talking to Rube, and I'm just blown away. These kids are 19, 20, 21 years old, and they're so gifted, both athletically and as far as academics. It's amazing.
I think one of the things that people don't understand about this team, they see some of these other teams and they see these guys do interviews and they can't put 3 words together without and you talk to these kids and you realize Todd's recruiting very, very intelligent young men. And not only that, they have personalities that allow them to blend in. And you get to see that firsthand, Jeffrey, about how the personalities of these last two, particularly in these last 2 years, how these personalities have blended in together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year, it was Alex Condon, Tommy Hawk, Micah Handlotten, and my good friend Cooper Josephsberg in one apartment, right? And I was good friends with Coop through his grandfather and his father and all that. But the dynamics in that apartment were incredible. The three guys that were hot, Tommy and Micah and Kondo, like they were living together all the time, and the growth that you see in all of them, but in particular Tommy Hawk, from year 1 to year 3, I think is what Todd Golden's best attribute is, that he's taking these players. I heard that Tommy Hawk is a top 10 potential draft pick now. Okay. Mm-hmm. And like he wasn't anywhere close to that in year 1, right? And then year 2, all of a sudden he starts to really grow. And now year 3, you see even more growth. How many coaches are doing that on a consistent basis?
And here's a guy who wanted to come to Florida, who had a logo on his suitcase or something in the 7th or 8th grade. Who knows how in the world I think is his mother a school teacher? I forget. But I mean, he's a guy who
he liked Tim Tebow. I think that was
he liked Tebow.
Tebow was his hero.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. So he's such a good story. But and I want to make sure I get to this point too. We're going to have a bonanza for you Gator fans coming up in the next 4 weeks, and we're getting Freddie's help on this. And it is the March Gladness, which is to say we're going to give away stuff. We're going to give away books, rings, you name it. And Freddie's working on the promotion. We'll have more information. We got trivia questions Franz is giving us from the book, and we're going to talk about the book in a second. And then we've got the we got the rings, etc. It's going to be fun. Every Friday, he'll have a special guest on, and we'll tell stories. I want to make sure we have at least 2 to 3 minutes of story time. Because you love to tell stories. I know that.
We're having a blast. I mean, my wife Patricia, we have floor seats for women's basketball right next to the visiting coach, and if the coach complains too much, Patricia starts knocking them down. With
LSU is going to be here in a couple of weeks, and get to know Kim Mulkey. I've known Kim for 45 years, and Kim is we need more Kim Mulkeys in the women's game. The women's game is a good game, and I don't think anybody knows how to promote it. They're doing a great job of it at LSU. They average more than 10,000 people a game, and
I had a crowd around the dome.
We had 2,000 tonight.
Yeah,
we had 2,000 tonight.
And I don't know what's going to happen here. And I know you're a big fan of Kelly Ray, Jeffrey, and you're a fan of women's basketball, and she's a classic case of a really good person and a good coach who just has a long way to go to get to the level of the Kill Monkey. The Monkeys are, if she ever will, it may not. And what she faces, we're going to try to help her some. We got an event there on the 24th of Spurs, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to try to help her some, but it's tough out there. And if you got a team, let me give you just your assessment. I thought they played really good in the first half. They had a nice shot of a couple times of the players, and Shaq's daughter made a beautiful 3 right at the end of the quarter, and they showed Shaq in the stands up there. But it's a tough deal. You know them well. What has to happen, Jeffrey?
Well, they need support financially, because women's basketball should be the marquee sport at the University of Florida. Certainly gymnastics is high profile. Women's softball is high profile. However, nobody disagrees that the marquee sport for women is basketball. It's the most on ESPN. It's the most on, it gets the most coverage. And the University of Florida does not have a championship program now. And in the NIL world, we need money. So Patricia and I are getting together with some other folks and starting fundraisers for the women's basketball program because they're going to need the money to keep the top talent. It's not, you can't ask a woman basketball player to, go to work, which is what NIL is. I was shocked when I walked into the Florida Victorious office and they started talking about the basketball players as their employees. Have you heard them talk about that, Franz?
Yeah, I have.
That's the word going around.
Yeah, and I'm going like, oh, that's something I never heard of before.
Well, this is part of the problems we have. I don't know if you heard Dabo Swinney's podcast the other day. Dabo makes totally good sense about changing the calendar, which has got to change, and not just for football, but for all sports. It's unfortunate that we got the NCAA, which in its infinite wisdom carries, it's like there's a big sign that says this is the right way to go, and there's a fork in the road that says you got a 10% chance of getting it from here. They always take the 10% chance. But we've got to reform college sports. You are correct. We are in a pay-for-play mentality. The sport has changed. But that doesn't mean just because we're in a pay-for-play mentality that you can't set guidelines and have guardrails in there and say, okay, you got to keep it between here. But the NCAA is too cowardly. They're denying Trinidad Chambliss a chance to play another year at Ole Miss, even though he was injured for 2 years. And yet today they granted a guy either his 7th or 8th year because he was injured. And the inconsistencies are there. And this is where, when we come to the University of Florida, we got to have some consistency with our program. We've got to have, like you said, Jeffrey, we're going to have the money. We're going to have the support. But they've got to have guardrails, and they got to be able to follow them and get them there.
Okay, we got Lauren Meadows. She's a big fan, of course, of the women's basketball. And the question on the floor, and as you know, Mr. Meldon starts his show next Thursday night. He's going to answer all those questions, give away a whole bunch of stuff, raise all the money, and all that stuff. He's going to do it all. Take it evening to Jeffrey and Lauren.
How you guys doing?
What do you think has to happen for Kelly Ray to be able to turn this thing around, or can she?
I think she could turn it around. They're playing hard. They're just losing to better basketball teams than the most. You look at the loss against Texas A&M, losses there at Auburn. It just was, you go through those times of disconnect. But I was having a conversation with some people tonight at the game, and, I just would like to see Florida as an institution make an investment in the sport. Historically, they just never have been, nobody has been successful. You had Carolyn Peck, who had success, obviously won a national championship at Purdue. You had, Carol Ross, who did a nice job. Amanda Butler came in with a little push and has, but just have never, it's always funny. Like when people ask me about Kelly Ray Finley, they remind me that Florida's the only sport that's never won the SEC is women's basketball. But that was before Kelly Ray Finley. I think you have a coach that could be a rising star in this profession. And I think is a great manager and builder of culture and people. But the university just has never made the commitment. And, there's just been, there's been some opportunities to make an investment. You look at the investment that Georgia made, Kentucky, and it just has never been made. So without the institutional investment or somebody coming in and saying, hey, and I don't really like this term, so I'm gonna say it, but I don't necessarily believe it. I'm gonna buy Kelly Ray Finley or buy Florida an SEC championship. There has to be the institutional investment, and it just is not there. And Franz could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm okay. Somebody clarified it. You also have all of this going on in a state where at the prep level, the popularity of the sport is also going down as well. So it's going to take a certain buy-in to get this thing going.
Well, one of the things that has to happen is we got to be able to keep the kids in the state of Florida, from the state of Florida, in the state of Florida. I mean, I remember when Carolyn Peck was trying to recruit Sylvia Foles from down in Miami. She goes to LSU. They get her. She's a program changer and so forth like that. But too many great players go someplace else. I coached the AAU team that almost won the Nationals in '81, and with Cammie Jackson, and quite frankly, my assistant coach and I had to convince Wayne Allen, who was the coach at Vanguard, which was one of the state powers at the time. We had to convince Florida to give her a scholarship. She was. I had coaches who came to our practices who were offering her on the spot. I had, we go to the Nationals, and the coach from Kansas says, I'll take half your team right now.
Yeah.
Where are they
okay,
going?
well, that's fascinating. It's been a long pull up. Sorry to interrupt you. I do want to get to a point about this book. And I know that Jeffrey's read it. He bought a bunch of them to give away. I think that book will stand the test of time. 10 years from now, it'll be just as good as it is today, because you have Chronicle on parchment, the story of 2025. And there's three guys who lived it, especially you, Jeffrey. You lived it. You read the book. You bought 100 of them to give away to the team. What did you see in that book that you liked about it, and what's your great memory? Because one thing that three people have said to me in their review, that at the end of the book, they said the same thing. It brought a tear to my eye.
For me, I just thought it was a book that could only have been written by Franz Beard. He was writing about the Gators game after game after game. Mm-hmm. He understood it. If somebody had tried to go back and hadn't gone through the games the way Franz had, I don't think the book would have come out nearly as interesting and compelling.
Yeah, he experienced it, and it was just more than an account. It was a book that had the between the lines things that you wouldn't read anywhere else. If the person who tried to write that book tried to fake it, they could never have done it. That was a real. I think today in the world with so much AI, that authentic is big. Something being authentic makes a lot of difference to me. It's not a rip-off or a fake, and nobody wrote it to AI. It's the real deal, and it's an account of that book. And let me just not overlook the great pictures that Chris Spears took. I know you're a fan of his, Jeffrey, and you're going to get some pictures yourself that you'll be able to utilize. But Chris Spears did all this I know how hard he works, and Franz, too. Yeah. I go to the games with him. He works hard. You ought to see him in a football game. Oh my gosh, it's like slave labor. It's a physical profession. You got to really work hard, and he loves it. He does it all for the love of the game. That's the kind of people I love. So anyway, it's a great book. Be sure you get it. I can just tell you, if you're interested, go to Spurriers.com and log on and hit shop, and you can find out how Freddie can get you a copy of that book over there. In the final minutes we got here now, we only got a minute each. We have started the program by saying sometimes there's a good loss. Was the Auburn loss, Lauren, a good loss for the Florida basketball program?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at the bounce back, yeah, I mean, it definitely kind of jolted them. And man, I mean, they went up to South Carolina and took care of business. But I still think that there's some inconsistency there that maybe didn't show itself because you had such a great crew in the 3 guards that were there last year, and they kind of masked some things. But Florida was able to lean on people last year, lean on you, and at the end, take your heart from you, really, really drive. And I haven't seen that level of ferocity from this basketball team yet. Was South Carolina an outlier, or did it finally wake those guys up? I'm not sure yet. Probably need a couple more, just a little bit more to see where this team is. But, as we, less than 60 some odd days from Selection Sunday,
Right.
I think that, it's time to get to getting. So
March
maybe there
Madness
is
is upon us right
yeah,
now.
maybe
It's
there's
time
a
to
sense
go.
of urgency.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All
right. Thank you. And Franz, we'll let you respond, and I want Jeffrey to wrap it up. What about that? You had a story about them being intense on Monday's practice.
Well,
on Tuesday's practice.
They came out with a level of intensity that we haven't seen, and you saw it on the defensive end. I mean, they swarmed people. They did not allow people to get good shots. South Carolina couldn't hit a 3 all night for the most part, and the reason was they couldn't get clean shots off. And the Gamecocks got shots, but they were bad shots, and that's a sign of good defense. As Florida forced them to take bad shots, and this is the thing Todd's preached: run them off the 3-point line, make them take tough twos. Well, what's a tough two? The problem is they've been running them off the 3-point line, but they've been making twos like Auburn did. But when you make them have tough twos, it's a different story. The intensity was there. I like that. That's got to be the carryover, because if you're intense and you have the consistency there at both ends of the court, you're going to win ball games in spite of your deficiencies, because you're never going to have the perfect ball game.
Yeah. All right.
We'll find out Saturday. We'll find out Sunday.
Sunday when they play
If
Alabama.
there's some carryover from.
Yeah, we got about a minute and a half I want Jeffrey to sum up what he saw. This, to me, looks like as good as this basketball team has looked ever when they played South Carolina. It was amazing how they drubbed them, Jeffrey.
Before the season, I talked with assistant coach Corey McCray about what was going on. And remember, he didn't lose 3 players to the NBA. He lost 3 players to the NBA and 1 to Kentucky, because Denzel Aberdeen was baller, who Kentucky paid $2 million. We lost 4 friggin' guards. And he told me at the beginning of the season, before we started, it was going to be a rebuilding process, because this team is built on chemistry. How do you bring in 2 new guys, no matter how talented they are, and create that chemistry in a couple months? I think the best is yet to come as far as the guard play, because we're just starting to see a little more consistency in the guard play. So that's my thought.
Good thought. Good thought. Good way to wrap it up. Very well done. Next week, it's the Gator. What is it, guys? Hoopla. Say it. Gator Hoopla. Jeffrey Meldon's new basketball show next Thursday night. Guys, great job, Franz. Lauren, good job. Good to see you, buddy. Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We're going to wrap this up and say thank you to all of our sponsors tonight, including Meldon Law. They won't back down, including to our friends up north, where they're doing a great job. Titan MRI Imaging. They are a superb place. They have expanding. They're going to be soon in Marion County, Ocala, my hometown there. They have 3 locations now to serve you in Gainesville, Park Avenue, and Millennium Center. One in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. They offer the same great customer service. I love this about these guys. They can reschedule you for night if you can't make the afternoon, making it better for the customer. And If you're a little bit of claustrophobic getting in those tubes for your MRI, guess what? They have the larger ones where you don't have to get in there and feel like you're in a space capsule. So they're taking you into consideration. They have convenient self-pay options. You can use your insurance. They offer CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds. So check them out. Titan MRI Imaging. Coming soon to Ocala, better serve Marion County. It's your choice. Thank you to the guys tonight. Good show. Appreciate everybody being on. Don't forget, next Thursday, it's Jeffrey Meldon's new show, Gator Hoopla. Have a great night, folks. And we are back at you here. When? Well, the weekend sometime. We have a new schedule coming up on shows, which you'll also be hearing about. So stay tuned for that. All right.